I did it again.
Wow.
I hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
I hit the little starting soon, but I think, you know what? I think it's because when I was adding pictures for some of the other shows, like all my little videos got in a different order.
Well,
so
we're on here.
Yeah, we're on now.
Okay, yeah.
But I just hit the wrong thing at first.
All right.
Because I'm a dummy and I'm not looking at what I'm doing.
All right, this flick here was recommended by my boy Brian Hackett.
Yeah.
Went to school with him back in military school up in California, SCM, Southern California Military Academy. He's in Hollywood.
Yeah, he's in the film industry.
He's in the film and he does all this sound and stuff. He's a friend of Crussell, and anyway, he recommended this and he said that this is a brutal fucking movie, Australian movie. And
gotta love the Australian.
Yeah,
horror
what was
movies.
this? 2006.
2009.
2009. Okay.
Yeah, that's when it initially came out. Like, as it did the festivals, and because it's an indie film.
And yeah, indie film, and it was good. It was good. It actually feels a lot newer than 2009.
It does actually.
It actually feels like something that would come out this year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of ahead of its time, I would think, in the way that it's edited. Just like the it kind of reminded me of a Mia Goth movie, kind of.
I guess I could see that.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because it was just kind of raw. I don't know. But I liked it. Now, it did kind of... I thought it got a little bit predictable, kind of. But it was still good.
Well, I mean, it flirts with quote-unquote torture porn.
Yeah.
It's not as extreme as something like Hostel or something like that. But it has elements of that in it.
It's not like Terrifier.
It's not that bad, but
mostly psychological.
Yeah, but it does have like a few brutal scenes in it of torture and stuff.
In some ways, it kind of reminded me of Misery, the Stephen King movie Misery.
Yeah, in a similar way of like a woman like keeping a dude hostage.
Yeah, it's about this real good-looking high school dude, got dripping with women, long hair, and
looking like Jim Morrison.
Looking like a Jim Morrison and shit. And he gets abducted by this girl who asked him to the dance. She asked him to the dance, and he said no because he was going out with somebody else already. And he was out with his dog, and he gets jumped, and some dude fucking kidnaps him. And when he wakes up, he's in her house, and it's her and her dad, and then who I guess is her mother. And she's a zombie. She's fucking got a scar in the middle of her head where they boiled her brains out.
Oh, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Or the whole time we were like, I wonder would that really work? Like, no, we're going to do it.
And then I think it would kill you.
That
was shit like Dahmer was trying to do with the Drano.
Yeah, because I said, ooh, they're going to do a Dahmer.
Yeah. Put you in a coma and then you die. But then they were like, he realizes that she had her dad abduct him in this big charade. They're having a party in the house. It's pretty fucking creepy. And he's kind of like a doting father. And she's kind of like this sadistic fucking maniac, really.
A little bit of a slight incest vibe, too.
Hard to say.
Well, no, because they almost made out at one point.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did, yeah. Yeah, so I guess they did, yeah.
Because she kept saying that's why she can never find a man to satisfy her because it's always her daddy.
Yeah.
And then they almost kissed, but then remember, like, the guy got away.
Yeah, that's right.
And, like, so they got interrupted.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So, it is weird.
Yeah, so the thing about this movie that's kind of cool, though, is that it's also... I wouldn't call it a comedy, but it definitely has, like, a twisted sense of humor to it.
Yeah.
Like, some of the scenes are, even though they're kind of horrifying, are also, like, legit funny. And I think a lot of that is because the girl that plays Lola, who is, like, the psycho... She's great. I mean, everybody in this is great. Like, all the acting in this is really good. But she plays, like, a really good psychopath. She looks like she is just having the time of her fucking life, to be honest.
Yeah, she's not creepy looking. She's a regular cute.
She's just a regular cute looking girl. She's not really funny looking or anything. Or anything. But and the thing that's cool about this, okay, so this was actually the film debut, at least the feature-length film debut, because I think he'd made some shorts before this, of Sean Byrne, who later went on to make, in 2015, The Devil's Candy. And if you haven't seen that yet, please watch that, because that movie is fucking awesome. I love that movie. And I don't think we did a video of it. I think I wrote about it on my blog a long time ago. The thing about it is that when Brian recommended this movie, I had already seen it. Like, I saw it several years ago. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that being really good. But Tom had never seen it, so we decided we were gonna do this one because I've been wanting to rewatch it anyway.
It's a good recommendation. I'm glad I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not as torture porny as some stuff because it did actually kind of get, because of some of the scenes that are a little bit rough. It did kind of was going to get an 18 plus certification like in Australia, but then they appealed and they were like it ended up being 15 plus, I think, just because they thought that because some of the scenes were kind of funny that it kind of mitigated it a little bit, I guess. Yeah. Like that was the way they put it.
Now there's going to be spoilers in this, so if you want to watch,
yeah, I mean because it's pretty old. Yeah. 2009. That's pretty old at this point. I know it doesn't seem like it, but yeah. So we kind of like went over the plot a little bit, but there's a lot more to this. So I think Tom was saying that the only thing that he wished was that there had been a little bit more backstory about Lola, the psycho, and her dad, and like what the deal was with them and the other woman in the house and all this other kind of shit. I'm not sure I agree. I can see what you're saying. I'm not sure I agree. Like I said, I'm usually the kind of person that would prefer things just kept like ambiguous or things through implication, because a lot of stuff in here, a lot of character stuff is implied. It's not really stated outright. You know what I mean? Because, like, okay, so at the very beginning, like, the main kid, the high school kid, whose name is Brent, and he's actually, the first scene, he's in the car with his dad, and they're just kind of, like, bantering back and forth, and he's driving, the kid is driving, and the dad is in the passenger seat, and they're driving along, having a good time, listening to the radio and shit like that, and then this bloody, very wounded dude, like, wanders into the street, and he swerves to avoid him and hits a tree. And then you find out, you jump ahead 6 months later, and you find out that his dad was killed in the accident. And
he feels bad about it.
And Brent feels obviously very, very guilty about it. There's some implication that the mom kind of blames him because he was a teenager and he wasn't that experienced.
Yeah, and I don't think they ever found the guy that they swerved to miss.
They did not. They found out who he was.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that he probably wandered off and died somewhere.
Yeah.
But they did find out later, like, who that guy was.
I think the chick's dad went and hunted him down and brought him back. He was one of the victims. One of the mindless victims.
Yeah, because he wasn't in the basement.
Yeah.
As we'll get into, because he escaped.
Yeah.
Unlike all the other ones.
That's another thing. All the old victims, all her ex-boyfriends, even the ones that were little kids when she was a little kid, they're all still there. They're all in that basement. They're living like zombies, like animals. And they're all kind of cannibalistic, and they just eat garbage. Feral. And they can't speak or anything.
Their brains are all fucked up and whatnot.
Yeah. Brains are all fucked up.
But,
and their brains boiled out.
But, so the dude is, like, obviously going through some problems. Like I said, he started, like, self-harming. You can tell he's, like, kind of suicidal. Like, he kind of goes and almost jumps off a cliff at one point and things like that. But then he doesn't do it. Because, like I said, the house is kind of unhappy because his mom is obviously, torn up with grief also because her husband died. And, like I said, I think she low-key kind of blames him for causing the accident or being in the driver's seat. And she's still real paranoid about, like, she won't let him drive, and she doesn't want him driving or being in a car with any other teenagers driving because they're not experienced. Like, because there's this big dance, kind of like a prom, like end of school dance, so like a prom would be in the United States. And he's going to go to that, but his girlfriend is going to drive him, his girlfriend Holly. And his mom is like, well, can't you just take a cab? I'll pay for a cab because at least a cab driver is more experienced, because she's still, like, real paranoid about him getting in an accident.
Yeah. This is kind of a weird part of the story. Maybe there's cultural differences or whatever, but you would think Australia would have a similar driving culture as America. Where
they seem to, at least according to this movie and the other Australian
movies. We're learning to drive when we're kids, long before we're legally able to. Most of us driving around in country areas and stuff. And then I think we get our learner's permit when we're about 15, I think.
You can get your learner's permit at 15.
15, yeah. So this thing about you not being experienced enough to drive your car, even though you've had accidents, that kid would have an accident, and the next day the insurance would fucking cover that car, and he'd be driving again.
But I mean,
there's no choice.
But we're just saying that his mom obviously doesn't want him being in a car because she's, her husband died in so she was.
It's kind of like mental illness, though.
Well, yeah, but it's like a trauma response.
He's going to have to drive.
Well,
if he wants to live. Yeah.
I know that. But like I said, she's not. Obviously, it's only been 6 months, and her husband got killed, and her son was driving, and so she doesn't want the same thing to happen. So she's like paranoid about it. You know what I mean? It's understandable. So he's like having kind of a hard time. Obviously, his girlfriend Holly seems like really nice, and they're in love and everything like that. But there's also this other kind of subplot. I guess it's sort of a subplot, kind of. It sort of ties in with the main story a little bit. But he has this friend named Jamie who's kind of dorky, a little chubby, heavy metal loving guy with some feathery hair going on, and he has a crush on this very stoic goth chick named Mia, I think her name was, and she actually agrees to go with him to this prom or this dance or whatever. But obviously, Brent is going to go with his girlfriend Holly. But then there's this other girl named Lola at school. Now, CB is saying that, if I remember correctly, her classmates fuck with her badly and she takes revenge. Not really. No. This is not like a Carrie situation. That's what I thought was really interesting about this, because it would have been very easy to have made Lola kind of like bullied, or like having scenes where everybody else was picking on her. They don't really do that.
They just gotta avoid her.
They just kind of, and I think it's better because I think it's done by implication that it's like, she's obviously kind of a loner, kind of a loser, but nobody openly says. I think at one point, after Lola asks him to go to the dance, and he's not mean or anything like that, he's just like, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm going with Holly, but he's not a jerk or anything.
I think she's just real clingy.
Yeah, and she's obviously a psycho, because this isn't the first time that this has happened, as we'll discover. But so, in a way, that kind of makes her more evil, because it's like she doesn't even have the justification.
Yeah, no.
Because like something like Carrie, where she just got picked on all the time, and her mom was shitting on her all the time, and like picking on her, and it's like finally at the end, she's just like, fuck all y'all, and like you didn't really blame her. Yeah. But this one, like I said, I think everyone's just kind of like, they think she's kind of a weirdo, but it's not like super gone into, and I think that kind of made it better, because you're just kind of left to imagine, maybe she's just some nobody, like nobody really notices her, because I think at some point, he's with his girlfriend, like going home from school, and he's like teasing her, saying, oh, somebody asked me to the dance, and she's like, oh, who was it? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you, and all this other stuff. But then like later, he says who it was, and she just kind of is like, oh, that's weird. You know what I mean? But, like, she doesn't be like, that bitch or that fucking weirdo or anything like that. So it's like, nobody is outwardly mean to her, which I thought was kind of interesting. So it's all her, you know what I mean? So after that, and like I said, he's not mean when he rejects her at all. Like, he's very polite and just like, I'm sorry, I'm already going with somebody and all this other stuff. So then he goes kind of out by himself. And, he's hanging out with his dog, and he's thinking about jumping off a cliff, and then he doesn't do it. But then it turns out that this guy comes up behind him, and, the website doesthedogdie.com? I hate to tell you, but yes, the dog dies in this movie. So, just a heads up. So, you actually don't find out until later that the guy did something to the dog, too. Because the dog makes its way back home, but then it dies later, and he says he stabbed it. But, so this guy, like, kidnaps him, and when he wakes up, he's in the kitchen of this ramshackle house, like, out at the edge of town, and he's wearing a tuxedo, and the kitchen is decorated, like, it's got balloons and streamers, like a banner that says end of school dance and all this other kind of shit. He's at this fucking dinner table with, this guy who's also in a suit. And then Lola, who has put on this actually quite cool, like, hot pink prom dress. She's got, like, little pink sparkly makeup on. She's kind of, like I said, a lot of the stuff of the character is kind of implied. Like, they kind of show around her room a little bit, and you can tell that she's kind of stunted slightly. She seems like a lot younger than a high school girl. So there's that. And she has this big scrapbook that she's putting pictures of him in and drawing a heart around it and shit like that. And then there's this other woman sitting at the table who they call Bright Eyes. And she's wearing like a blue formal dress. And she has like a hole, like a scar in the middle of her forehead, and she doesn't talk. She just kind of sits there and stares off into space. And at first they kind of leave that a mystery, like as to who that is. She's just kind of sitting there. The first thing they do to Brent, who is tied to this fucking chair, is they grab him and inject bleach into his vocal cords. I'm guessing so he can't scream or anything like that. So that's like the first thing they do. And then over the next several hours, they proceed to do all kinds of terrible things, like to torture him, including, let me see, what else do they do? First it starts out kind of minor, like she's trying to feed him some chicken and he won't eat it, and then it's like, he says he has to go to the bathroom because he's going to try and escape, and she's going to make him pee in a cup, just like right there. And then obviously he can't because everyone's sitting there looking at him. And she basically says, hey, my dad's going to come nail your dick to this chair if you don't pee in 10 seconds or whatever. So he does actually end up... I thought she was going to drink it, but I thought I remembered her drinking it, but she doesn't. So there's that. Now, so they do a couple things. Like, he actually gets away for a little while because he has... because remember how I said because of his dad dying, like, he does all this self-harm kind of stuff? So he has this necklace, very, very edgy. He has a necklace that has, like, a razor blade on it. And they didn't see it, I guess, because it was, like, kind of hidden in one of his pockets, or I don't know where it was. But it was kind of hidden, so he was actually able to escape for a little bit. So he kind of hops out, and then he ends up climbing this tree in the front yard. But then, you know, Lola and her dad come out and start throwing rocks at him, and then, like, he falls down and... in a stunt that looked like it was actually quite painful, like, falling out of the tree, like, onto the car and then onto the ground. And I was like, oh, shit. I feel bad for that stunt, man. But yeah, so they get him back in the house, and then after that, the dad decides he's going to make sure that the dude doesn't escape again, so he basically nails his feet to the floor with knives, which they show in loving close-up. So that's pretty cool. And then Lola starts doing stuff like she carves like a heart with her initials in it and then throws salt all over it. All that kind of stuff. And then it leads up to this one thing where... I guess because you find out that this isn't the first time that her and her father have done this. In fact, they've done it several times over many, many years, because later on she shows him her scrapbook, and it's got pictures of her like when she was a little girl, like with a boy, and they're like tied up and stuff like that. So I guess her dad has been like kidnapping boyfriends for her for a very long time, because this is his little princess, right? And whatever she wants, like, he'll do for her. And you're also led to assume that she's kind of the chip off the old block, because the dad, you're led to, like I said, they don't say this outright, but you're led to assume that the dad did that to the woman Bright Eyes that's in there. That he drilled a hole in her head, which is what they end up doing to Brent. They drill a hole in your head, and then they're going to pour boiling water in it, which they say kind of boils your brains and makes you like a zombie. Like I said, I don't know if that would actually work in real life. I could probably Google it. I'm sure I'm already on a list somewhere.
It wouldn't work.
I don't think it would work.
Do massive head trauma to
but
you.
Yeah, you would think.
You go into a coma and you die. That's what Jeffrey Dahmer was trying it.
Yeah.
He couldn't get it done.
Oh, and I did find out, because I think you were in the bathroom when I said, but you know when they were injecting the stuff in his neck, the first thing, that was bleach, actually.
What would that do to you?
They wanted to fuck up his vocal cords, so he couldn't scream.
Okay, so it wasn't in his carotid artery.
It was his vocal cords. So they, like I said, they were kind of practiced, so they had done this before. Because it was Australia, so I didn't recognize the bottle, like what it was.
Did he permanently lose his speech?
I'm guessing so, because he doesn't talk anymore after that. Now that I'm thinking about it, he doesn't say anything after that. But yeah, so you find out that... Now, I'm assuming that the woman that they call Bright Eyes, that I'm assuming the dad did the drill and the boiling water thing, too. At first, I was kind of like, well, now is this... Did he do the same thing? Did he, like, kidnap women that he had the hots for and, like, kept them as sex slaves, essentially? And maybe he's been doing this for a long time, and maybe that's not the first one. But I guess not, because I think later on, she calls her mom. So I guess that is her mother.
He probably did this after she was old enough to be a bad influence on him. And the mother wouldn't tolerate it, what they were doing to the boys. So they zombified her.
That's actually a good insight. So maybe. But he's been doing it for a long time because remember all the pictures in the scrapbook, like she was little. She was pretty little.
So he must have started doing it around when she was about 8. Which, I mean, that's probably how old she was when they turned her mom into a zombie.
Yeah. And she's probably been like that the whole time. Because the mom was obviously older. Well, she was about the same age as the dad, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know, she looked older because she was all fucking fucked up.
So about 10 years prior, probably. She was close to 18. So.
Something like that. So that's how long she's been like that. Like I said, so I didn't know if there were other women. There weren't any other women in the house. So I'm assuming that was actually her mom. Because we were kind of wondering about like going back and forth.
He was doing it for his daughter. He raised her like that.
Yeah, like I said, because he was also a psycho.
Yeah.
So, but it was interesting because he comes across. Again, I kind of like the way they did his character because he doesn't come across as like super menacing. He just comes across as like kind of a milk toasty.
He's real beta.
Kind of, yeah.
Well, I think she controls him.
Yeah, like basically.
Yeah.
He'll do anything that she asks him to do.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. She wanted that little boy.
Yeah.
When she was a kid, so he got her that little boy. Remember?
And then and like I said, there's hints that there's like an incest. I don't think they've ever had sex, but I think they have like incestuous feelings towards each other.
Yeah, he's real submissive to her.
Yeah, which, like I said, a lot of it is by implication. Although I think that's pretty heavily implied.
So she's an 18-year-old child. She didn't psychologically develop.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, you can kind of see that when they go around her room and it's all very pink and princessy and little stuffed animals and stuff like that, like much younger than someone like that's going to graduate from high school. You know what I mean? Like it comes across like much more like a little girl. And so
she's a Veruca Salt.
Yeah, kind of.
She's like that. Daddy, I want it.
Like, and he's just like, yes, yes, princess.
Yeah.
Yes, princess. And that's what he does. Like, he even bought her the dress and the shoes and all this other kind of stuff. So it's like, so the bulk of the movie is like this kind of long, horrifying scene, like in this house where he's like tied to this chair and they're doing all of these horrible fucking things to him. And then sometimes they cut away to Jamie, his friend, who's at the dance, which is that night, with this goth girl, Mia. And they're kind of sitting out in the car drinking and smoking pot and everything like that. And so they keep cutting back and forth to them, and that's kind of like a little bit of a comic relief, I guess. Like it's not zany funny, but it's kind of funny. And so they keep cutting away from that, like from the torture for a couple of minutes here and there. But you do find out that the bloody guy at the beginning of the movie that Brent swerved to avoid and then got in the accident and killed his dad, that was Mia's brother. And she had also been kidnapped by Lola at some point, a year prior or something like that. And he had actually escaped, and he was one of the few that actually had. They don't actually ever I don't think they reveal like what happened to him. I think Lola says something like, oh, that was the one that got away. He's probably dead by now. So I'm assuming he was. They don't really say, because like I said, the accident is like 6 months prior to the events of the movie. So he must have just wanted, because he looked pretty fucked up, to be honest. And so, okay. So we cut back and forth to that, and we're also cutting back and forth to Brent's girlfriend, Holly, who obviously is like, where the fuck is my boyfriend? We're supposed to go to the dance. And, Brent's mom, who is also like, where the fuck is he? And so the mom and Holly are starting to kind of wonder where he is, and they get Mia's dad, who is a cop, involved also. But they don't know where he went. Like, they go to the cliff where he usually goes, and they find, like, his iPod or whatever, and, but they don't find him. And they also, the dog comes back, like, wounded, and is clearly stabbed. So they know something bad happened to him. They just don't know where he is. Like I said, the dog does end up dying, unfortunately, so it's pretty upsetting. So there's that. I was just going to say. There's a whole ass website. There's a whole ass website called DoesTheDogDie.com.
Yeah.
And I said, I hate to tell you, yes, the dog does die in this movie. So it's not super horrible, but it is kind of upsetting. So those kind of three things are going on at the same time. And then you find out later on that I guess Lola gets sick of Brent because he's not the one. And like I said, there's a weird scene where she's like, I guess, no boy will ever be good enough because, she's in love with her dad. So there's that whole weird thing going on. And so they're going to do the drill and boiling water thing and put him in the basement with all the other people that they've kidnapped who are all still down there. But they've grown up now, but they're all feral. Like, their hair's all long and they're all naked and dirty. And they every now and then throw some fucking roadkill down there for him to eat. So it's all just, like, stacked full of bones.
Yeah.
All this other kind of shit.
Yeah, they're just shitting in there.
Yeah, it's nasty as shit. And it's like, I assume it'd be really fucking disgusting. And, so you find all of that out, that all of those people are still down there. The drill scene where they do the drill, that's a really good scene because it kind of reminded me of, in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where, the one in the wheelchair, what was his name, Francis?
No, Apo.
When Leatherface, like, kind of pretty much, like, eviscerates him with the chainsaw, but you only see it from the back, but people remember that it was a lot gorier than it was just because of the sound effects and all of that.
Yeah.
That's kind of how they do the drill scene in this one, and I thought it was really well done. Because, like, they'll show, like, a close-up of his face, and, like, there's blood running down like that, and he's fucking freaking out. And then the sound, and then, like, they'll show it kind of from the back, and there's, like, smoke coming out, like, for the fucking skull and shit like that. Because they do actually drill into his head, so he does have, like, a big, huge hole in his head. Which wouldn't kill you. I mean, it's not great, obviously. But, they just didn't get to... I mean, there's kind of just a very sickly, funny scene where they put the drill bit in, and this is the first time she gets to do it, because usually Dad does it. And so she's kind of excited. She gets to do it. And so she does it, and he's kind of coaching her. It's like, you gotta do it a little bit harder and all this other kind of stuff. It was kind of fucked up. And then she's going to pour the boiling water in, and she's trying to do it, and she kind of spills it, and then she's like, Daddy, make the hole bigger. Like, we have to make the hole bigger. So he goes and makes the hole bigger. Like, and all that other kind of shit. And I'm just like, oh my God. But it so happens that, like, he gets out before they pour the boiling water in there. So he has a hole in his head, but they don't do the whole brain boiling thing. And then he ends up killing the dad. And then Lola throws him in the pit. Like, they fight, and then she throws him in the pit. And he can't get out. I mean, it's hugely deep. And, so she says, well, I'm going to go kill your mom and your girlfriend. Bye. Like, you can't get out. So she starts walking away. And then, meanwhile, I think even before that happens, Mia's dad, who was a cop, Holly, the girlfriend, she remembers that Brent told her, oh, that weird Lola girl, like, asked me out to the dance. And she's like, well, maybe... So she calls the cop, and she's like, well, maybe go check that out. It's like, maybe it's nothing. But he goes to her house and looks in the window, and there's fucking blood all over the floor, and he's just like, oh, well, that's a red flag, obviously. So he goes in there, but he, like, pretty much immediately gets killed and also thrown in the pit. I think that Brent gets out by stacking all the bodies up, actually. Like, after he kills all the feral victims and everything like that, and he ends up getting out. But he actually does end up escaping, and they do defeat Lola at the end by running her over with a car. Like, and that's a great scene too, where she's crawling after the car.
Yeah.
Like, and her wrist bone is, like, sticking out. She's, like, going like that, like the fucking Terminator. And then he just basically, they look back and they just, like, fucking run her over. Like, run her over in the back. But yeah, it's just, it's a hell of a lot of fun, and I kind of feel like it's a little bit... I don't know if I'd necessarily call it a hidden gem, because I think a lot of horror fans have seen it, or at least have heard of it. It's on a bunch of, like, best horror movies of the 2000s sites and stuff like that. That's kind of, I think, where I ended up hearing about it a long time ago. So I don't think it's completely unknown, but I don't know. I do kind of feel like more people should maybe see it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It doesn't seem like it's 2009. It seems like a good movie made in the past couple of years. So I think some filmmakers kind of worked to get a tone similar to this because I started recognizing it in the newer movies.
Yeah.
The visual tone and just like the mood, the way it's set. So I think it might have had some influence, this movie.
It might have, like I said, and it really did get like a lot of good. I think on Rotten Tomatoes it's like 98% or something like that. So it's like pretty well regarded.
Yeah, it's good
in the horror community. And like I said, I don't think I'd call it a horror comedy, but it does have a lot of black humor to it, as a lot of Australian horror films tend to. I've noticed it's not as, because I know that when Brian sent it, he's like, "Ooh, this one's really brutal." Now scenes of it are. But it's not, I mean, it's not as bad as, like, fucking Wolf Creek or anything like that, because, holy shit, we should do that one of these days. That movie's fucked up. And that was actually kind of based on a real thing. Australians do a lot of movies based on real crimes that are just soul-crushing. Like Wolf Creek, Hounds of Love, that one was fucked up. What was the other one? Snowtown Murders, ugh.
Yeah, this one isn't really, like, depressing or anything.
No, this one's actually, like, there's a lot of torture and stuff like that, but it's kind of...
self-aware, it's kind of
tongue-in-cheek weirdly lighthearted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The movie knows what it is.
Yeah.
And it knows that it's trying to freak you out. And it knows what you're thinking when you're doing this. You can tell the actors are fucking with you. It's still a good movie, but you can see that, you know, they're playing with it.
It's just more like a fun...
Yeah, they're playing with it.
It's a lighthearted torture movie. You know what I mean?
I just think it's kind of self-aware. It's kind of like along the lines of remember that fucking Nicolas Cage movie where he goes in and fights all those animatronic animals in the middle of the night. Didn't say a whole word. What was it?
Willy's Wonderland.
Kind of like Willy's Wonderland. That thing knew what it was. That was a good movie though.
I really liked that movie.
That was a good movie.
Even though it was like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah. And Nicolas Cage doesn't say a single word through the whole movie. It's all fucking...
And that was certainly a choice. I kind of liked that, though. I thought that was kind of...
Yeah.
I mean, me thought that would be a challenge. And I'm like, all right, more power to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was just physical acting.
Oh, I want to mention, too, about this. This movie also looks fantastic. I love the color palette.
Yeah.
I love the shot compositions. It's just a really nice looking movie. And I love the score. I love the score and all of the music that's in it. It's just really good choices all around. There's a lot of heavy metal in it, but there's like some kind of more chill, like girly kind of 2000s music in it too. Like it kind of goes more along with Lola's character. So I don't know. It's just really well made. And like I said, if you've seen this one, this was Sean Byrne's first feature length movie. Please also see The Devil's Candy. Because I feel like not a lot of people talk about that one either, and that was fantastic. I really like that movie. It's the same director, yeah. And you saw that with me. It was a while back, and you really liked it too. It was like that family, and they were all like into heavy metal and stuff, and he was like an artist. And then there was that creepy guy that was like a serial killer that was like gonna kidnap their daughter or something, but he was like, wasn't he possessed by a demon or something?
Doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, we saw it.
Okay. I probably would recognize it if I saw the cast.
I think Ethan Embry was in it, from who was on Walking Dead a long time ago.
We saw it in the movies?
No, we saw it on streaming. I think it was on Shudder or something.
What is there a scene in it that I would remember?
I'm not really sure. I can't think of... I don't know. Like I said, I wrote about it for my blog, but I don't think we did a review of it.
We'll figure it out
at the time. But it's really, really good. And like I said, so this guy's made another movie too, but the other one that he's made, I haven't seen it.
Just goes to show you don't need a huge budget. As long as you got a good director who believes in the project and he's got a good script and he knows how to bring that to you, they're going to have a good movie. You know, and a lot of times the problem is that with a big tentpole movie like Hollywood, the fucking script is made by a committee, and they're just trying to make that movie for everybody.
Well, they're trying to please everyone.
And when you do that, you end up pleasing nobody. So it's not really one man's vision. Everything that I say one man's vision is, you know, in quotations, it might be 2 or 3 people that are really driving the production. But, you know, just shit like a committee's not going to come up with, say, the stuff or the substance. Was it called The Substance? Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit.
The Demi Moore one.
Demi Moore, yeah. That was like one dude.
That movie was
came up shit. You know,
it was a woman actually. That
woman that did it. Yeah.
That was a female director.
Okay, she did great. Right. And I don't know if she wrote the script, but she knew how to bring that story to life.
She might have. Yeah. I'd have to go look it up.
That was one person's vision, and it works. And
it was batshit crazy.
Yeah, and you just don't
in the best possible way.
You're not really gonna get that with big budget movies, man.
Not usually.
And that's the thing that's fucking Hollywood up, and Hollywood's fucked. They're all trying to make $1 billion movie, and they're gonna have a fucking $500 million fucking budget, and you know, to make $1 billion, maybe they'll make $100 million profit if they tell us the truth about what any of this shit costs. They probably don't. Probably a shit ton of money laundering and shit involved. Hollywood would probably do better if they just make movies like this. A lot of like, you know, good quality. You know, fucking. It's kind of a cohesive vision. You know, to bring you a story with a cast that's interested in it. You know, you get more bang for your buck because they don't have to put out a bunch of money to make that movie, and they'll turn a profit. I think A24 does that. Mm-hmm. And Blumhouse does that.
Blumhouse does that.
They're not big budget movies, but they're a fucking decent product, most of them.
Yeah. And not all the Blumhouse movies are great, but they don't cost that much to make, and I think pretty much all of them make money.
Yeah, they make money. And you know what you're in for when you see A24 or Blumhouse. It's probably going to be pretty good. And it's going to be a pretty good low-budget movie. I've seen good ones and mediocre ones from both.
Yeah.
But there's never been anything bad. It's just...
I mean, I haven't seen all of them, obviously.
The ones that we saw, none of them were bad.
No.
The worst they could get would be like kind of mediocre.
Yeah, like some of them were just like decent when you watch it, but then you kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's okay. At least you enjoyed it at the time. At least you didn't actively be like, oh my god, I want to fucking kick this movie into the sun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some of the shit, I think it might have been A24. It did, what was the one with the evil Superman?
Brightburn.
And they were going to do
I don't think that was A24.
See, the A24 or Blumhouse? Was it Blumhouse?
I don't remember. I think we looked it up before. I don't remember if it was either one of those, but
that was another low budget movie from a little studio, and it was punching above its weight. Evil Superman, and it ends on a cliffhanger that there was another evil supervillain showed up, and they'll take whatever a superhero was and reverse it and make it evil, you know, and that was the horror aspect of it. You know, this little boy fucking comes from another planet. He's Superman. He can do all this shit. He's also like a serial rapist and fucking horrible. He's a monster. Yeah. It was wild, man. And it was a low-budget movie, but it worked. I remembered it. It stuck with me. And they were going to look like they were going to make a bunch more, but they never did. Because they ended the story on the arrival of something new. A new bad thing showed up, busting through the side of a skyscraper. I wish they would have kept that with. That would have been like a cool... They were trying to make their version of the fucking MCU, you know, a horror version.
Yeah, like the evil version. Mm-hmm. Although there's already a series that does that kind of called The Boys.
Yeah, people said that would be good. I actually
it might be on. Is it on Amazon? I think it might.
Be. What's it? M. Shyamalan. What's it? That guy's name? Shyamalan. His superhero movies were good. Like, you know, what is it? Fucking Glass and fucking what was the one where Split. There's like 4 of them.
Well, it was a trilogy.
That is a trilogy, but I would put fucking
Unbreakable was the other
Unbreakable one. Yeah. Although in a way you could say that very first hit of his with that little boy that could see the dead people would have been in that same universe.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because he had a superpower too, is to see fucking ghosts.
I still don't think M. Night's made a better movie than The Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense was good.
That's like his best one.
I don't know.
That was his first one.
The other ones, Unbreakable and fucking Glass and all that.
Yeah,
they were good too.
Those are good too, but I mean, The Sixth Sense was way better. Although I will go to bat for the 2015 movie The Visit.
Yeah.
Which actually I didn't expect to like, but I actually ended up liking that quite a lot.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. His movies are kind of hit or miss, honestly. Let me see. Oh, Fourth Row Down says, have you guys managed to see Weapons yet? Oh man, that's like one of the next ones on my list, because I've seen every motherfucker on every horror motherfucking channel talking about that movie.
Haven't seen it. Is it new?
So, yeah, it's new.
Okay. Is it streaming?
No, I think it's in the theater.
Okay.
But I have to. Well, I don't know. I have to look. I just reckon because I haven't even got to see Bring Her Back yet. Although I did notice that on Amazon Prime it's dropped from $19.99 to $9.99. So maybe another week or two I'll be able to like afford to watch it.
Brian's in the comment section saying, "Hey, what's up, Sound Boy?"
Yeah, there he is. He was the one that recommended.
Yeah, he's the one that recommended
this movie, which, like I said, I had seen before, but it had been like a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
In case you missed the review, we liked it.
Yeah, I like this. I like this movie very much, and actually, watching it a second time, I liked it a lot better this time. There's something about Australian horror, I can't really put my finger on it, that because this movie does have a very American kind of vibe to it, like a Carrie kind of vibe, because it's set in a around a high school kid and around a prom and everything like that. But I don't know. There's just something about the Australian sense of humor, which is just very dry and like understated, that I think works really well with a lot of horror. That's why I like a lot of Australian horror movies, I've reviewed like quite a few. We haven't done Wolf Creek, I don't think.
I've never seen it.
It's kind of fucked up. It's based on a real serial killer. But it I remember it also kind of being kind of fucked up and funny, like in the way that this one's funny, but not quite as funny as this one. You know what I mean? But then you have shit like Hounds of Love or Snowtown Murders, which were also based on real cases and are not funny at all, and are like actually like really fucking depressing. They were still great though. I think I reviewed Hounds of Love a while back. I'd have to go look on my channel and see.
Brian is saying the weapons is awesome, but he's saying I would like it.
Yeah, everybody is saying that it's like really, really good. It's like I've just gotten so behind. There's like so many new ones coming out that I want to see, and it's just like I said, I haven't even seen Bring Her Back yet, but the price is coming down, so I'll probably get to that one, and then we'll end up seeing Weapons.
Yeah, I don't know if you were listening, Brian, when I was talking about it earlier. Maybe you were on the stream already, but I was saying I don't know if you agree. I think one of Hollywood's major problems is that the budgets are too big. They're trying to make these movies that'll make $1 billion, and they got $700 million in fucking production costs to get the fucking thing done. Where it has to make $1 billion for it to turn a fucking profit. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. If those numbers are true, I have a feeling that there's laundering and lying and shit like that involved with those budgets. I bet you that's not what it's actually costing them. That's just my theory. Maybe tax purposes and shit. But I think if they were to do it like A24 and what Blumhouse does is they just make at least an okay movie with an entertaining script and with
like an under $10 million budget.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie, and every one of them makes money because not many people have to see it to make money. And some of those movies have been really good. The ones that I forgot weren't bad; they were just kind of mediocre.
Yeah, but you enjoyed them at the time.
At the time you're watching it, okay,
like, all right, that was pretty good.
Right. I don't know if
you didn't feel like you wasted your time for nothing.
What's your 2 cents on? You're in the industry.
But I mean, and really you can't go wrong with horror. Because I'm a horror nerd. I know other horror nerds will go see any motherfucking thing.
You can go wrong with it if you don't know how to write a fucking script or direct a movie. There's a lot of that. It's just that you can't go wrong with a decent one.
Yeah.
You're going to make money.
Everyone's going to go see it.
Yeah, you'll make money. Or it should.
Like I said, horror nerds...
As long as the budget's small.
Horror nerds fucking love horror movies. Yeah. And when new shit comes out, we're all going to go see that. You know what I mean? So that's just how we do. Did
he answer? I think he answered.
Says the best ones are smaller, lower budget ones like this and Strange Darling. God, I loved Strange Darling. That was one of my favorite movies from last year.
And the Mia Goth movies.
Yeah.
I remembered all those. I thought they were good.
I loved Infinity Pool.
Yeah.
That was a weird fucking movie. Brian also said same director of the Loved Ones did the recent Dangerous Animals. That was the third movie that he did. Now I haven't seen that one. I did see The Devil's Candy, which he did in 2015, which is also great. But I haven't seen Dangerous Animals yet. But I did write it down because I do want to see that because I really liked this dude's other 2 movies.
He says, James Gunn must have a solid gold house by now. Yeah,
probably. But yeah, I mean, I've said this before. Even when I was younger, I was never a big fan of big tentpole type movies.
Yeah.
That's kind of a more recent term, I guess. But, you know, kind of big blockbuster movies, as they used to call them. Like, some of them are great, obviously, like going back to the 70s and 80s, but it wasn't usually my thing. I was more a horror person or like an indie movie person. Yeah. So I would see the shit, but it wasn't really my favorite thing.
He's also, Brian says, I agree, Tom, these stupid superhero movies ruined Hollywood. Then he said James, then he said, he goes, the best ones are the smaller, lower budget ones like this and Strange Darlings. And then he said, seriously, the script of the new, I can't really see it because I got a little symbol in the way, a heart's in the way. Just say.
The new Superman is so horrible. It's like an AI script written by Beavis and Butthead.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't seen it, but
I just saw clips of it, and it just looks zany. There's just so many silly things going on.
Were they trying to go back to the kind of slightly more comedic tone of like the Richard Donner one? I thought that was what I heard, but like I said, I don't have a lot of interest in the superhero movie. Like I'll see them, and like some of the Marvel ones I saw were actually fine. Like I quite enjoyed them, but I'm not real. I'm not a big fan of them, you know what I mean?
The Donner movies of Superman, though, the first 2 and 3 actually were kind of played straight in comparison to what had come before in Superman, like on television, like the old fucking, you know,
that's
black and white.
Because that was like super. That was like super cheeseball.
It was actually kind of played straight,
just like the original Batman show was like super cheeseball.
The clips and little things, little trailers that I saw of the new Superman, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, Superman is now Shazam. Because that's how zany a Shazam movie. I like Shazam because Shazam isn't Superman. It's about little kids becoming super. It's going to be zany.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the whole
That's what it is, yeah. But Superman was supposed to be kind of straight, you know? Yeah, it's fucking goofy. This dude's got his underwear on the outside of his fucking pants. Okay, he's got on the outside of his leotards. He's got a fucking cape, all right? Even in Donner could fucking poke fun on that when Superman first arrives in fucking... in public... On the streets of fucking Metropolis, fucking the pimp sees him and goes, that is a bad outfit. That's like some a pimp would like. Exactly. You know, fucking, it was cool, you know. But, yeah, it looked like they were trying to do Shazam. That's what the new Superman looked like to me. I was like, they got the dog, the super dog, and I think he mentioned Supergirl evidently. When I started hearing this shit, I'm going like, this isn't the movie I want to see. Yeah.
Fourth Row Down says, I've been watching a TV adaptation of Stephen King's The Institute on Amazon Prime. It's worth a look. I've been seeing the previews for that, and it does look pretty good. I haven't read that book. Man, I got so behind on Stephen King. Knock it off. He writes so much. Jesus Christ. Like, I used to keep up. I used to, like, because I've read all of his old shit. But after, like... the shit that he started putting out, like, after the car accident and stuff like that, like, I read some of it sporadically, but it's just, I can't keep up. So there's, like, a million fucking books of his that have come out in the last week that I have, you know what I mean? He's published a million books in the last week that I have not read yet.
Now, Brian, what I am looking forward to is that fucking French director who did the Dune and the Blade Runner. I think he did great with those two properties. He's got James Bond now. He said he was a huge fan of James Bond. He's so happy that he's got the James Bond product. So based on his work that he's done before, we're gonna have good James Bond. I hope it kind of stays in the, you know, Her Majesty's Secret Service, and kind of like you know, Daniel Craig style. But you know, I think he can bring something new to the table that everyone will like. I think that one's gonna be good. The new James Bond. I got my fingers crossed. They gave it to the right man. If he can't do it, nobody can do it.
Brian says, I'm rereading the Institute book. Okay, so as someone who watched the series, do you think that I should watch the series first or should I read the book first? Because I only ask because it's like I don't want to read the book first and then watch the series and be disappointed. Because a lot of times if I read the book first and then I see a movie or TV adaptation, I'm always like, you know what I mean? It's not as good. But sometimes if I see the movie first and then read the book after, like I don't have quite the same reaction to it. So maybe I'll watch the series first and then read the book later.
Yeah, Brian. He came. He was while I was talking. He came in and said the same thing, that they were trying to make Superman funny, but it just comes off being asinine and juvenile. And at the end, Supergirl comes in and fucking says, "Thanks for taking care of my dog, bitch." You know, that kind of. He just says it. Yeah, to me, it was the tone was like Shazam, that works for Shazam, but that didn't work for Superman. Superman got to have a little bit of fucking class, you know. A little bit of gravitas with Superman, even though it is kind of corny. I mean, think about it.
Well, yeah.
You know.
Ryan says, Jenny, read the book first because you'll be confused on who is who. Okay. I'll take that under advisement. So, yeah. One thing I am doing for my other channel, the Scare Salon, I like to do book versus movie comparisons on there. I don't have that many of them on there because obviously they take a really long time to do. But I'm almost done with one. I'm doing the Shirley Jackson novel, We Have Always Lived in the Castle. The book came out in 1962, and it's a great book. I've read it a couple of times. And they made a movie adaptation of it in 2018, which was actually pretty decent. Chris McGlover was in it. And so I'm going to do a video about that. It'll probably be up this week sometime because it's almost finished. But I want to do Hell House, too, Legend of Hell House. I have the book on my Kindle. I read the book a long time ago, and I've seen the movie about 4,000 times. But that's another one I want to do, like, in the future. But I have the book already, and I'm going to reread it at some point, and then I'm going to rewatch the movie. Although I probably don't need to, because I've seen it so many times. But yeah, that's definitely another one I want to do. And by the way, if anybody has any ideas for any book versus movie adaptations, I'd kind of be interested. Horror, please. Only, like, I don't really do sci-fi or much or anything like that. I prefer older shit, but it doesn't really matter. And I'm not doing Clown in a Cornfield. I might watch the movie, but I don't know. I might get around to it one of these days. I think the newest one that I did a couple Adam Neville novels. I did No One Gets Out Alive and The Ritual, which I think a lot of people don't even know was based on a book, but it was. The movie was better, weirdly. I hardly ever say that. But the movie The Ritual was better than the book The Ritual, in my opinion anyway. I did like a big long thing about it. A big rant. Not a rant, but you know. Alright, so you have anything else?
He said something.
I mean, one of the insults that Lex Luthor tells Superman at the end of the movie, the best insult he can say is, you alien. Which, okay.
Yeah. It's cheesy.
Yeah, which, okay. They probably could have thought of something better than that.
Yeah, it looked really goofy, so.
Well, like I said, generally the only movies I get excited about seeing are horror movies. Like, when they come out. Those are the only... That's the only ones I get excited about.
I can't wait to see the new James Bond.
I mean, yeah, but how long is that going to be?
did with that.
How long is that going to be?
I'd like to know who's going to be James Bond, too. I'd put Tom Hardy in it.
Well, yeah, we would.
He's kind of older now, but he's still younger than me. Bond's got to be about late 30s, early 40s when he starts out. And he might be, I think Tom Hardy might be too old now. He's probably pushing 50 now, isn't he?
I don't know offhand.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, I think he's a little bit younger than us, but probably not that much younger. Which is weird to think about. It's pretty weird thinking that like fucking big movie stars and stuff are younger than we are.
Yeah.
Especially when they're kind of older, but we're old. That's just, you know. Brian says, Tom, one of Denis Villeneuve's best is one of his first ones called Polytechnique, about the Montreal school massacre in 1989. Very, very disturbing.
Hey, I haven't seen it. I have to check it out.
I'll write it down.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I've seen some of his other ones that you probably haven't seen, but I don't think I've ever seen that one.
I respect his work. He's got street cred with me.
He said it's in French with English subtitles.
Okay.
So, yeah, because it's set in Montreal. That makes sense. They speak French there. That's really... I just thought of something that... I just saw a movie... They don't set a lot of movies in Montreal. The last one I saw was a kind of a horror thriller called Red Rooms.
The new Alien series looks good, from what I've seen of it. I don't know who directs it. And I think that's going to be on Netflix, isn't it?
No, I think it's Hulu? I think it's Hulu.
Hulu, yeah. So we can see that, huh? We have Hulu, don't we?
Yeah, I get it through my phone plan.
Yeah. I can't wait for that. I think that's at the end of the year, not December, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I think it was like the end of this year. It was coming.
It looks good.
It does look good. The trailer looks good, yeah. Oh, okay, he said, I can send it to you guys the usual way. It's only 76 minutes. That didn't even move movie.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'd appreciate that. Like I said, that'd be really cool if we could watch it. All right, so are you ready to wrap it up for this evening?
Yep.
So, once again, thank you very much, Brian, for recommending this movie. I'm glad I got to revisit it, and I'm glad Tom liked it, too, because I'm never sure if he's going to like it or not. But I liked it even better the second time. I love Australian horror movies. It's almost kind of like they have just like they're just really good at horror movies. It's like the Koreans. Like the Koreans make really fucking good horror movies and really good fucking revenge thrillers. And I don't know why. They're just like so much better at it than everyone else is. But yeah. So yeah, this movie is actually on Amazon Prime. It's not free though. It's $3.99, but it's totally worth it. And like I said, if you like this movie, please also see The Devil's Candy. I also want to see Dangerous Animals, but I haven't seen that yet, so I can't recommend that because I haven't seen it. But his other two movies are really good. So I guess we're gonna wrap it up for this evening. So hopefully you guys can join us Wednesday night for our regular show. We are doing a show about The Trail of Tears. So that's gonna be a really depressing show. So hopefully you guys can join us for that. Help cheer us up a little bit. It's a very depressing topic. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us this evening. And thank you for all of your comments and discussion. And we will see you guys again on Wednesday night. Good night.